Are you ready? If not, you are in the right place because I'm going to get you ready for next week's market storm. Tariffs, GDP, PCE, Nvidia earnings, the bond market. I'm going to cover it all today to help you understand what could happen and how to be prepared for it. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and stick with me to learn how to navigate this chaos. Let's go. Welcome traders, Jeremy Ritz here. Courage pays better than fear trading. And next week is so important that I decided to put this video together today to make sure you're prepared with what happened today, Friday, at the time I'm recording this. And it's President Trump proposing 50% tariffs on the EU. And this is causing the markets to spiral downwards. At the time I'm recording this, the S&P is down 60 points and the bears look poised to strike with another red day. And we all know that these tariffs are fanning inflation fears by raising import costs. They're hitting sectors like tech, auto, industrials, think Nvidia, Ford, or Boeing. And when we saw this in March and in April, when tariffs on Canada and Mexico triggered a 2% NASDAQ plunge, it caused significant fear in the market. But it's not just tariffs acting alone. They're about to collide with the big data for next week, GDP, PCE, and oh yeah, we have Nvidia earnings. And don't forget about this stress thing known as the bond market. And the 10-year treasury yields are adding massive pressure. So let's connect the dots between all of these things. So we have big economic data next week. GDP and PCE inflation reports are dropping. And don't forget, it's a short week. The markets are closed Monday for Memorial Day. And thank you for your service to all of our military personnel out there, active duty, and those who are retired. But this data is going to be under intense scrutiny. Economists are predicting GDP growth below 1% this year, and that signals a slowdown. If GDP misses expectations, expect markets to tank. And then compound that with the tariff announcement here today, Friday, and that's going to slow trade and drag growth lower. Now, we're not done. We got to add the bond market in there with the 10-year treasury yields climbing and recent data showing yields near 4.5%. Higher yields raise borrowing costs for everyone, and they hammer growth stocks and pressure valuations across the board. So keep that in mind. And then we have, oh yeah, another thing, let's throw PCE in there. This is a Fed's favorite gauge of inflation. And Trump's tariffs, inflationary by nature, can push prices higher. If it makes for a hot PCE report, that's a nightmare scenario. And if PCE spikes, the Fed will keep rates high. That's going to push yields even higher, and that's going to crush equities. But a soft PCE could cool the yields off and spark a rally unless the fears of tariffs are the dominant force. So this interplay between tariffs, GDP, PCE, rising yields is chaos soup that we don't want to eat. So now let's figure out how Nvidia factors into this. Now we have the biggest market mover, Nvidia, the king of the market. And sometimes you'll see me with my Nvidia hat on. Am I an Nvidia Jensen fanboy? A little bit. That doesn't mean that I'm just YOLOing on shares or calls, although I do have a play coming up for earnings. Make sure you check out that earnings video, by the way, the final one, part 3. But Nvidia's earnings are May 28th, and they are the AI juggernaut. There's no way around it. And its results can move the markets significantly. There's no way to avoid this. It's happened in the past. And here's the thing, they're due for a pop higher. The options markets are pricing in a 100% implied move by May 30th, showing that there's sky-high expectations here. And then here's the interplay. Tariffs could raise Nvidia's chips costs, especially with the EU supply chain exposure, and that can squeeze margins. A weak GDP signals lower AI spending, which is going to hamper Nvidia's outlook. And then a hot PCE report could keep yields higher, slamming growth stocks like Nvidia, where the valuations are up there in rarefied air. If Nvidia crushes earnings and shrugs off tariffs, and yield pressures. It could ignite a tech rally. And think about this. AI hasn't even taken hold in the mainstream population yet. We are just getting started. This is the tip of the iceberg. If something is dropped in the earnings call that nobody's anticipating, a massive move is definitely on the table. All right, so let's tie it together with the bond market and the short week. Rising 10-year treasury yields are now near 4.5%. This is a huge headwind for the markets. Higher yields make bonds more attractive than stocks. People pull money out of stocks, especially tech. And guess where it goes? You got it. If PCE or tariffs signal more inflation, the yields could spike even further, and that's going to crush stocks like Nvidia or the broader S&P. A weak GDP could calm yields by signaling a slowdown, but that might spark recession fears, adding more selling pressure. These things are so interconnected. Now factor in a short trading week due to Monday being closed. Fewer days that the market is open means amplified volatility. It's going to be intense. In every headline from tariffs to yields to Nvidia, it's going to hit harder. It's going to be more powerful. And thin volume can turn a 1% move into a 3% swing like we saw in February with Nvidia and many other tickers. And again, talking about the interplay, tariffs spiking inflation, GDP signaling slowdown, PCE driving Fed policy, yields pressuring valuations, and Nvidia dictating tech sentiment. It is a powder keg. That's why I put this video together. It's going to be nuts. You have to be ready for this storm. So why is next week a market earthquake? Trump's 50% EU tariffs are fueling inflation fears. Once again, GDP and PCE data could signal slowdown or tighter Fed policy. Nvidia earnings could swing tech. The rising 10-year treasury yields are squeezing stocks, and a short week makes every move massive. These forces are interlocked, and you need to be prepared to profit or protect your portfolio. And here on this channel, Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading, I'm bringing you daily stock market updates, trading tips, motivation, so that you can dominate. And if this video helped you prepare for what is coming next week, smash that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, and make sure you check out the final part 3 of my Nvidia earnings series. And again, thank you for your service to all of our military personnel, both active and retired. And I hope you all have a great Memorial Day weekend. Make it a great day, everyone.